these epiphanies open up the energetics, and the system is always repeatable. Once you master the system, it's yours, it's palpable, it's dense, just like anything else. And I mean,
I'm starting to feel a buzz in my head here.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
You're calibrating at a whole nother level, my friend. It's like a supercharge of a gateway that has been opened within you.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I can feel it.
Welcome to the Consciousness of the Way. I am your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master Sun Qing, and the universe has granted me another Christmas day. It's repeatable. It's Christmas morning for me. I've got the presence of an incredible being, a consciousness explorer amongst many things, and has spent many, many, many decades on this physical plane, realizing that and sharing that with others and teaching people the mastery of discovering this present moment. Welcome to the podcast, Rich West. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing really great. Thank you, buddy. It's really nice to be on your show. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. I want to start with this. Go ahead.
Share.
Oh,
I'm just because I'm empty, but just ask, fire shit up, and I'm like, blah blah blah.
Let's do this. Well, why don't we start with just giving people a little backstory about you and how you got to where you are today?
When I was about 15 years old, I was feeling like kind of empty, and I'm staring at the stars, like a lot of kids do, and like, oh, just this longing. Didn't know what it was, but a little bit later, I got the vibrations from the out-of-body experience, the beginning stages of sleep paralysis and all that stuff. It scared the hell out of me. And I snapped myself out of it. I go, whoa, damn, I thought I was going to die. And then I'm taking a nap in the afternoon, then I fall asleep again. Happened again. Scared the hell out of me. I go, and I'm trying to break out of it. And I go, oh my God. And then I said to myself, if this happens again, I'm going to see it through. It's just something about me. It's like, if this happens again, I'm just going to. And it happened again. And the freaky vibrations and the sleep paralysis hit. And then all of a sudden it went dead quiet. I'd phase shifted. Now I'm hearing my astral or, higher clairaudience turned on. And I'm hearing there's three or four people out there. Yay, he made it. He made it. And that was my very first experience in that way. And then it just went from there. I started trying to figure out how to get out of body, and I learned how through Robert Monroe's techniques mainly. But I did a lot of past life regression work as an attempt to do some clearing so I could get out of body. So that's what it was all about. And then progressed through all of that, hundreds of hours of past life regression stuff, and other planets between lives. The big one was I actually was a galaxy, not a sun or a star. I was an entire freaking galaxy. And for me, it was just, I've been doing this past life regression stuff for long enough. So it was just another incident for me. But okay, I'm a galaxy and I'm depressed. I'm lonely. And there's this time's different over there. And so there's a babe galaxy over here, and it's coming toward me. And I'm going, So we merge, and then we go this way, and there's galactic debris left over. It's our little baby. And yeah. So I got that awareness in 1972, way before the internet and all this stuff started happening. So when you start hearing about, wild and crazy stuff, there are beings that are stars. I go, yeah. There are beings that are planets. Yeah. There are beings that are, entire universes. Yeah. Anyway, that's how I got started.
I mean, right now while we're speaking, I'm operating with the backdrop of the universe. I'm just experiencing constellations, planets, all this kind of stuff. Sensory perception. I'm experiencing it through my whole body, attuning to the vibration, the frequency, and then resonating with it. So I'm high as a kite. I don't need another toke of the doobie. I'm just presently there. And that's a state of consciousness. And I mean, you feel that vibratory like resonation through your whole physicality, because I use this as a tuning fork. So when you share stuff like that, Rich, it gets me all fuzzy inside, because then I'm a little, what some of my students call me, you're aura dipping again. So, you know, it's always good, because everything is the present moment, that you can tap in to all these things instantaneously. Yeah. There's no limit to possibilities. So when Rich shares his incredible experience as a galaxy, it's like, damn straight, woo,
yeah,
you know, just that resonation.
Yeah, thanks. And yeah, the consciousness is the universe. You know, it's not like we're in a universe. It's the universe is within the consciousness. It is, you know, the imagining, right? And we are all of it. You know, every detail. It gets a little heady, and you're like, well, huh? And then we kind of shift back. You know, okay, I'm me. I'm me. Yeah, well, there's a lot of me in here. There's more than one. You know, stuff like that. And it's a never-ending challenge, and a never-ending journey of self understanding, expression, and you know, figuring it all out from the inside out, from this perspective. And it's kind of what I'm here. I'm kind of a I can relate well. I relate well with the guy on the street, and I can understand it from his perspective or her perspective, and kind of share it from that perspective. That's kind of way.
Yeah, it's sort of like being able to, you know, resonate. Really, once again, we'll just go back to that word, resonate with all beings, so that you can have a conversation that might be highly technical in relation to a new language we call physics, or all the way down to just an experiential moment where, holy moly, I'm vibrating and at a frequency that is just like unreal to the average person, and experience that. And it's like that transmission is really the palpable moment when people are like, whoa, okay. You know, because I had this conversation with Tom Campbell. It's like, the reality is, you know, the idea, you know, and that's really the fundamentals of Nigong, inner power of the cultivation within Taoism that we've used for thousands of years, is being able to create the inner alchemy that's then accessible and repeatable at will. And that puts you in that state of that multi-dimensional reality, meaning when you actually operate Nigong, you are actually doing it. Sorry about that. Doing it.
Okay, it sounds good.
Yeah. So when you use Nigong, you're operating in all dimensions at once. So that's a new definition of multitasking. And so, and he felt he was resonating with that, because he experienced that too. It's like Rich and I are in the same place with Tom. It's like you can be in that. You get to a certain point where the mastery is now. So when the mastery is now, you don't have to get in the lotus position, light 3 incense, call in your 3 favorite guides, and sing Kumbaya. No, it's a present moment thing, and you feel it. It's like I always tell people, if you're thinking, you're not knowing. If you're knowing, you're feeling. That kinesthetic charge is a register within this physicality that, whether you're what you consider out of body, which I talk about in body, inside, going inside, still a realization that, you know, all this stuff is registered in, as Tom would say, the large consciousness system. So there's a register there. So that experience has to be validated. It's like, well, what happened? Well, I got out of my body. I had this experience. And in most cases, if you're, you know, fresh off the boat and you're just got an NDE or a sleep paralysis situation, you're a newbie to the OG street sort of smarts, and you're getting used to the understanding of what that means to you, and then being able to be separate but be the same at the same time, realize that your construct of your physicality is the limitation that you're having. And once you understand that that's no longer, your outer body is all things, which is going inside. And so, you know, we have a part of our scripture is we make it very known. Let the man who's never left his village, let him know he's seen the world. And so that kind of realization of you don't have to go anywhere and you can access it all. What are your thoughts on that, Rich?
Oh, it's all inside. You know, we call it the out-of-body experience, but, you know, there's the inner planes and, you know, the inner world, know thyself, look inward, all the answers you'll find. Well, it's the consciousness. And you can just go deep, deep in. And, you know, they talk about, you know, these astral planes and higher planes, you know, 5th density, 6th density, 13th density. I stopped using those kinds of labels. You know, it's like, hey, you shift in consciousness and your frequency, and here you are. This is where you are, and you're creating this limited belief system territory or reality system by yourself or with a lot of others, or you can like go inward. But again, it's a frequency tuning and a focus, and then everything is ever possible is all within in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't end.
No,
So,
it doesn't.
you know, personally, I mean, if I consciously thought about it, I've explored probably consciously, you know, 36 dimensions that on a time frame lasted, you know, I don't know. I think I was enjoying myself without a time or space, but within this physicality, it measured out to be about 14 hours that I was out there. And so you go through it, and it's something else. I mean, there's like this heat and a charge, just like, you know, you and I are experiencing. When you get to that resonation, there's this heat emanation that comes from within you that starts to sort of just emit and pulsate, and you're resonating at that. And that's kind of like the first introductory I had to Lao-Tzu over 32 years ago when I channeled him for the first time, and has been as my teacher to this day, my second. You know, I want direct source information. I use him as an access point for that information. It's like he would be the spiritual new age equivalent to the Akashic records, I guess. I don't know what you call it. So, you know, it's all validated in this 3D reality. It's only true when you say it's true, and your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. And it's validated by the experience. It's validated by what is it that you're able to, you know, perceive and consume as your realization. It doesn't mean anything. Rich and I can talk over and over and over about all these things, and they're conceptual until you get the memo that they're not conceptual, that you experience it for yourself. So it's kind of like this kind of exploration that's going on. You having done it for so many decades. I mean, you're speaking on over 50 years doing this stuff. It's incredible, incredible. So realizing this and where you are right now, and what you've watched the timeline of human history, how we go through these cycles, you know, through time, spirituality, atheism, religion. It's sort of like cyclical, and we merge through it. And where we're at right now, it's like, okay, now we seem to be at this idea that, you know, hey, I'm ready. I'm a channeler. I'm a psychic. I'm a medium. Now, 30 years ago, when I was doing this stuff consciously, majority of the psychics and mediums were complete snake oil salesman hacks. Yeah. And it made my experience a lot easier, because people would constantly come to me and they'd be like, holy moly, this guy's for real. The information is truthful. It's very valid to my very experience. It resonates with me, and I'm able to apply it in my reality. And it's holy crap. How does he know this? Well, I don't know anything. Yeah. I don't claim to know anything. It's an access point. I'm a catalyst, a conduit to the information. And so, you know, you kind of get to that place where, holy moly, there really is no end. We have just begun. Oh, yes. I mean, that's true. The true nature of consciousness, in my opinion, from my own journey, my own realization, my own reality, the eternal portal having a human being experience, is it's an infinite amount of energy, frequency, vibration, infinite amount of spirits, entities, all things. It's just never ends. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's true. They're everywhere. Entities, phenomena, the unlimited level of reality systems and parallel universes. We can pop out and, you know, in the understanding of a time stream. People are like linear time, but you can pop out of that, and your next reincarnation can be like, 20,000 years earlier in your spiritual sequential aspect of this beingness. But we have many different perspectives and points of view, and we're running around we're in other bodies on Earth right now, and then other timelines, alternate realities, all that good stuff. And then we're living in other realms right now, and we can go out of body or inward and merge with another self, or just be there and oh, you're back. Or you can leave and go, they would never know you left, because you got your avatar, your self, not even an avatar, it's yourself there, your consciousness there, you merge with it back and forth. And the timelines are like way fluid, and then this whole Mandela effect, right? That's a thing. So there's timeline wars going on, and they're changing shit. And like, well, didn't there used to be a big giant oak tree there? Yeah, it's not there anymore. Do I remember that right? Yeah, you remember it right. It's just unfathomable and deep in that way. So
yeah. So let's talk about your mastery as a pioneer of consciousness exploration. And so you're using these tools. When did you come to discover that a state of trance or consciousness was a great entry point? Because I use this sometimes. I let people realize that when you start going into conscious, subconscious, unconscious, these are subsections of a perception. They're one access point, as we would call it. I always tell people, if you come from biology, neurology, physiology, psychology, you're limited in your perception. And so you've used this tool to enter in and help people heal or explore or identify things that paranormal in their nature. What was the turning point for you that you discovered this tool? And I'm sure that's just the little leftover tool from many decades ago on what you use today.
Well, yeah, it was 1970. I was taking a course in past life regression sort of stuff and traumatic incident reduction. And you track it down by the way the mind works. It files things in all kinds of interesting ways, but like in today's language, we could say tags. And so all these incidents that have a sharp pain in the left side of the head, that's a tag. And you run that traumatic incident. Now, how do you clear it? If it doesn't completely clear, well, there's all this context in it, and it's a 3D holographic, and people like yourself can move into it and relive that past moment as if it's a now. And it is a now when you're in it. It's now, but with the context about here, it's this is my past life thing, and I've got another now, so you can time jump and move around. So anyway, you got your reference point here. This is my now, 2024, okay, but now it's past. But now you can move into it. But all that 3D holographic stuff is like, if you're going to do some clearing, the way I learned how to do it, you want to clear the somatic, the headache or whatever it is, and so you would go earlier similar. Tag, earlier similar, sharp pain in the left side of the head. And then that will pop you an earlier lifetime, or earlier this life, or an earlier lifetime. And as you do the technique, you don't even have to be trying to do an a past life regression thing. You just go earlier similar, and they will automatically earlier similar. Well, yeah, I got an image, but I don't remember. It's good. What do you see? Well, I see a tree. Oh, okay. When was it? I don't know. It seems, I go, well, does it feel like, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, like that? Or was it when you were looking at this tree? You just get a when, doesn't matter. And they go, well, it feels like it's like a long time ago, about maybe a few hundred years ago. Okay, move to that incident a few hundred years ago. And boom, and you're moving their attention with imagination. And it's not really their imagination. They pop into it, and then you run them through it, and you clear that incident, and you go earlier and earlier and earlier as you need. And before long, we're going back billions of years. And it's really not a trance state. You're not going into trance. They got their eyes closed and they're looking, but you don't put them under trance. It's not hypnosis. It's the other way around. We're trying to wake them up while they they process that information, and so they see it and they talk about it, and you run them through it and the details, and you want to pull out the command value, the like if hypnosis style, it would be a hypnotic command. It's like, shut up, for example, be quiet. And it's in the incident. And now they go, oh, that's the same thing my mom said to me all these years. Shut up, be quiet. And I've been quiet. Well, fuck that. You know, and it pulls it up out of the unconscious, conscious. It's cleared. You clear the emotion. They run through the pain, emotional pain and all that stuff, and you clear it all out. And blah, 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 blah. So I started doing that a lot. You know, I'd get the sessions and I'd give other people sessions. And we started running into the space opera, the space drama, implant stations and between lives areas with ETs fucking around back in the 70s. It's like, oh, wow, interesting shit. So it's kind of, you know, I guess the start of my understanding of things.
Yeah, I mean, and making it repeatable. Yeah, it's kind of like I just put everything under the same category of a sensory perception. And you know, people are like, "Oh, hang on, whoa, what do you mean sensory perception? We only have 5." Well, actually, no, that's your jump-off point. And quite frankly, through my exploration, 5 is the baseline. You can actually think, speak, and hear something without any audible transmission whatsoever. So there's 3 more right there. So now you have 8. So hang on a second, you have 8. That's your starting point. And if you have an imagination, oh, yeah, you do, then you have infinite amount of senses. And so all of a sudden people are like, oh, wow, your potential is infinite. What is possible is infinite. And people start to go, man, that's deep, bro. That's deep. And you show them, right?
Yeah. It reminds me of back in 1974. I'm going to work and doing this kind of work. And me and my buddy were in the car, and there's a hitchhiker. And this is back in those days when hitchhiking was okay and normal. So anyway, we pick up this guy, and I'm just in a mood. You know, I'm in my 20s, right? And I'm in a mood. And I say to him, hey, you ever see a UFO? No, do you believe in UFOs? And he goes, yeah, I kind of think they're probably real. Yeah. You ever see one? I don't know. Would you like to see one? He goes, what? I said, yeah. We can. There's probably a time in your past where you've been on a UFO. Really? I'm just goofing, man, and I'm in the backseat with this guy, and he says, yeah. And so I just, you know, okay, close your eyes. Oh, okay. Now, just imagine being on a spacecraft with an ET. And you go, oh, okay. It's just his imagination, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, what's it look like? And I know what I'm doing. I'm just, and this isn't hypnosis. This is just he's sitting in the back seat and we're talking.
Yeah.
And you, okay. Well, yeah, I see this. He's a gray guy and he's about 3.5 feet tall and yeah, it's kind of silvery. Oh, okay. When was it? Yeah, how's it feel? It feels like how many years ago? If it was, you just use your imagination. Oh, I don't know, what, 10 years ago? Something like shit like that. I forget the details. But okay, yeah, move to that. Oh, yeah, okay. Now let's look at what. How long were you on the ship? It seems like about 2 hours. He doesn't know I'm running a past life or a traumatic incident of him being abducted. We're just talking here. But it gets fucking real fast. He goes, oh shit. They're doing this and they said that. And and so their perception, their emotional experience of it makes them a fucking believer, sort of thing. And so I use that technique a lot for people that don't get it. They say, I can't remember past life. That's okay. We'll just use your imagination. Because you can hardly imagine it without having already done it. You know, that's one approach. But you can then normally when you're tracking that stuff down, if they think they're using their imagine a beautiful beach. What kind of beach? You know, I mean, some kind of an otherworldly, off-planet sort of beautiful beach. with beautiful babes. And oh yeah, I can do this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. And what are they doing? They're tuning into an alternate reality, a parallel universe, or a past life, or a future life. Doesn't matter. But it's really cool. It's fun.
And then it amplifies the sensory perception part, because it just goes from just a transient thought to this sort of very sensory experience. And that is an access point that, you know, Rich has got a mastery of.
Yeah. There's another access point that most people don't know. And it has to do with tuning in, increasing the perception while you're in it. But, you know, when people go to sleep at night and they see an image and another image and another image, and they want to get out of body, they want to learn how to get out of body or whatever. Well, it's not really out of body, it's consciousness shifting. But they go, well, when an image comes up like that, see if you can hold on to one, just with the intention, just hold it there. Oh, yeah, I can do that. Okay, well, just quiet mind, don't be thinking about it, don't have emotions about it, just like okay, yeah, okay, now reach for it. Just with your intention, not like that, but you know, you reach for it. Okay, withdraw from it. Reach and withdraw, reach and withdraw. Okay, now look at something small in that. And you go, oh, okay, yeah. Now look at something large. Oh, well, there's a mountain back there. And I can do this while they're sitting there if they have good visualization. If a person has good visualization ability, I can get them consciousness shifted onto a spacecraft, for example, with friends, hugging, feeling, loving, tears, laughter. I do this. This is something I offer on my website. It's ETs and, you know, it's all the consciousness shifting stuff. But yeah, it's a technique where you can help bring in more perception when they see an image or an imagining, and you can draw them into it. And at first they see it here, and then, well, look, you know, look at your feet. Oh yeah, I didn't. Oh yeah. I go, what do you see? Oh, I've got sandals on. They're going, And what I'm really doing is helping them draw their attention into their imagining, or this alternate realm or parallel world, or whatever you want to call it. Right? And I'll get them, and when they're ready, I'll say, okay, well, what's behind? Take a look behind you. And they'll go, oh, and they're in it, right? It's really fun. It's a great way to help people understand their own ability.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's there's this different degrees of consciousness, and I mean, I feel like both of us have got this understanding where people have to categorize it into, you know, you're in a certain state, a trance, a hypnosis, a healing, an epiphany, an awareness, you know, a meditation, a guided meditation, you know, I mean, it just gets, you know, you're using NLP, you're using this, you know, it's a state.
Yeah.
And it's just like, once you resonate, and this is what I do with all my students, is I can resonate in a fraction of a second, and they experience it, and they're like, how is that possible? You're just speaking and you're feeling. It's exactly what Rich is doing. You know, it's like he's already there. He's already mastered the ability to access it, and you instantly, you're there. And like, so anyone that's observing or being part of the realization of Rich's interaction will experience this resonation. And so that's just a mastery. That's what it is. I mean, sometimes I go down, I live out here in Nevada, so I go down to the Strip, and you know, I like entertaining my kids, and we just do street hypnosis and come up to people, go, hey, have you ever experienced being really relaxed and just completely, they're like, oh, no, would you like to? Sure. Like, then their friends are videotaping it. And in the same second I say that, it's sleep, and they're gone, and their friends are like, whoa, it's been 3 seconds, and whoa, what's going on here? What are you doing? And then it's next minute, it's like boom, boom, boom. Take the wallet and keys. They're looking at me in the eyes. They've woken up, and they've forgotten their name. And I'm like, so what's your name? And their friends are like, and they're blank. And their friends are like, what have you done to my friend? And then next minute, I'm waving the wallet and keys in front of them, and it's like, boom. Yeah, where is my wallet and keys? And, you know, Rich understands what I'm talking about. He's like, where is it? And I'm like, do. And then in the same state, and this is not something that's normally a mastery that most people are familiar with, but I'll shapeshift into Justin Bieber. And so in the same second, normally I'll just like use the distraction of waving my hand. And when I bring my hand down, I'm Justin Bieber. They're like, oh, where did Justin Bieber come from? It's a state of consciousness that can be obtained if you understand how to resonate. It becomes instantaneous. You don't have to go, oh, sleep, and my command is da 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 da, and you need to be suggestible. And yet, well, look, the suggestibility is your emotional. I always remind people of this. If you're emotional, you're suggestible. Well, what does that even mean? It means that your ability to change your reality at will is the gateway to that. Now, if you use fear, then of course, more likely than not, it's going to be a very high entropy level, and it's going to be something a little unpleasant for your experience. But you will manifest something. Something is going to happen because you are basically putting out something, and it will meet with the same resonation. It will be realized. So if you're resonating shit, crap, negative perceptions, however you want to perceive your reality within a duality, it will be realized. The universe doesn't have a moral compass. It just says, oh, you want some more of that? Okay, here you go. That's my perception. That's how I've received it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, same. It's what we think about, what we feel about, we're going to bring about. It's that simple, classic bullshit. But basically, that's it. But it's predominantly, or it's like you gotta, okay, I think about this, and I thought, and I felt about it. Oh, well, how many times did you think about it, or how intensely did you think about it? That's a factor. So like put some numbers on there if you want to like be quantum physics about it. Well, okay, how much emotion? Well, it's just a little emotion. Okay, well, how many times over the last 20 years? Well, just a little bit. But now it's manifest as part of your life. But the other thing is like, I think about it every day. And as if it's I already have it, I have it. Well, how was the emotion? If it manifested pretty fast, well, the emotion was a frequency match to I'm having it. And it's clean, and I'm not countering it. I'm not bashing it with a negative thought like, oh, this shit probably won't happen. That didn't happen. So that manifestation phenomena will occur fast. It's all about what we think and feel. But here's the fucking rub that the ETs, the regressives, know about. It's not what we want. It's what we think about. And they know how to manipulate what we think and how we feel. And that's their in.
I got to tell you, Rich is bringing up this ET phenomenon that's happening right now in the world today. And he and I, having experienced this for so many years, we're seeing a influx and an excess amount of freeloaders, I like to call them. Anyway, the reality is I had an interaction with Thoth just about a month or two ago. And his sort of thing was, oh, this is just, I didn't even realize this, that looking deeper at his background, because I was never, it never resonated with me, Egyptian history or those type of entities. I'd see them come and go if I was working with someone, I'd use that energy, work with it, whatever is necessary. But I wouldn't necessarily, it never inspired me to go, oh, I need to go down and check out more of, Egyptian history, until my own teachers, the three pure ones, got me involved in like pyramids. And I was like, that's so weird. That's not like Chinese history. They're like, yes, it is. And then I went, they go, take a look on your thing that you like to type in, this Google thing. I'm like, okay. And there's a treasure trove of pyramids in China that have never been explored. And I'm like, wow, you can't make this stuff up, man.
Okay, interesting enough. Just last week, Pyramid, China, I'm doing some work, cleanup work. The regressive ETs, they sneak around, and the good ETs are kind of like monitoring stargates, and because this Earth's kind of quarantined, they got a lot of bad apples here, extraterrestrial ET cabal reptilian stuff running things here. Well, they're not supposed to be able to travel just anywhere. Okay, so the stargates, portals are pretty much monitored, and it's a no. You can't. Bad guys can't. Well, it occurred to me that there are some portals that the progressive ETs don't know about. They're hidden. They're sneaky. Little hideaway hole places. I said, okay, I'm gonna I share with some friends, they're like astral warriors, right? They're really good lucid dreamers, and they go out and they have targets and missions, and they go out in the astral and they do things, clean things up there with the idea of trickle down. If you clean it up out there, it'll trickle down into the physical, especially if it's close to the lower astral and etheric and all that shit. So anyway, they're doing different things. So it occurred to me, hey, well, let's find some of these secret portals and stargates so we can get rid of them. You just close them down or undo them, something. Oh yeah, good idea. So they started doing that. And I said, well, walk your talk, Rich. So I did it the way I do it, and I made a video about it. I don't think I published it. It was kind of for the group, but yeah, I tracked down a pyramid in China. Well, we were just talking about this. So I tracked down a pyramid. It's in China, and I go, okay, where in China? And I see, okay, North China. Okay, is it north and west or north and east? Well, and I use, you use your spidey sense and different stuff, and I use a meter. I got some videos on my channel, YouTube channel, that show me using the meter, right? So you use this meter. It's like a super sophisticated biofeedback machine, but it's really registering the deeper thought mind fields and your own consciousness. Anyway, is it get like 45 degrees off this? Yeah. It's over this. How far is it? So I took a pin. I'm going like this. How far is it over like that? And the pin goes here and the needle goes. Okay, 45 off center, China. I go, well, how far from the northern border? 100 miles, 200 miles, boom. Oh, okay, 200 miles. This is the astral. I'm doing astral work. Okay, so, okay, 200 miles from the border, and boom, nailed it, saw it. The vision, it shows up. And I go, okay, where's this portal? Is it like ground level pyramid? Is it below a little bit? I get my little, oh, there it is. There it is. Then I see it. And there's these two old fuckers, man. They're like, they've been sitting there for centuries, guarding the portal, like bored out of their fucking minds, right? And they see me and they go, and we're here, we're gonna do some work on these portals. And they're going, who are you? I said, it's okay. We're just gonna take it out. And they didn't know what to do. And I said, look, we're gonna close the portal. We're gonna take it down. And I said, do you guys ever get bored here? And they're like, what? Yeah. And then I said, would you like to get a new job? They're like, what are you talking about? I said, well, you got your supervisors probably get pissy if you just stopped working here or tried to take off, right? You got to do this, right? You're not here because you want to, right? Well, yeah. Oh, anyway, I talked to these guys and found out where their home world was and the last time they saw it and all that shit. And I helped them bail from this fucking assignment they had and go away. So I didn't have to, have any clash with ET or astral beings or anything. And so it got them out of the way. And then I just undid the portal, a little magic, a little of this and that and the other thing. And then I went back in time. This one particular portal was a natural phenomenon, not created with technology. And so I just moved a few planets, so just kind of shut, so it wouldn't cause the swirl and done. So they couldn't come back and repair it, So anyway, that's the kind of shit I do.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we do out here. I actually physically take people out to the pyramids here because people don't understand the pyramids just out in the desert here in Nevada are naturally formed mountains. People don't get it. They're not understanding a deeper nature of it. So you can walk up to these, and these vortices are massive. They're massive. And the closer you get to them, the stronger the resonation, and then you got to hold that, or you just bear mercy to this amplitude of energy that is just out of this world. It's crazy. And within Taoism, we would lop the tops off the pyramids in China so we could draw the grids out, and then we would do star stepping magic and correlate it with the constellations.
Oh,
And so,
good
of course, the higher the ascension, the more mastered and developed you are as a Taoist alchemist, i.e., priest, healer, whatever, it becomes more instant. And so, for me, when I do a lot of this stuff, you know, I teach people all the rituals, all the stuff that's necessary for the magic. But it becomes that present moment, and it can only be accessed through the mastery of more realization of who you are, and it happens instantaneously. And so, you know, it's like that's what we do. Rich and I, another day in the office, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So, hey, what are some of the basics that you teach your students? What do they first got to practice or master?
Well, first you start to identify the simplicity of energy, right? So, you know, just the fact that is not conceptual, and that it is something that is always there. And so many people are shut down in their minds to the idea, you know, through belief systems, i.e., Christianity, that fears energy is some type of deconstruction of reality, and man cannot harness that. And it's a belief system. I'm not poo-hooing Christianity. Everyone has a place for their own belief system, but that is one of the things that scares people. Yet, if they look deeper into their mysticism, it's very clear that each belief system, each religion, every way, has their own deep seeds in mysticism and understanding this alchemy that exists between the humanist and the universe. So for myself, first and foremost is identifying energy. Normally, I don't care who you are, the biggest skeptic in the world or a guru, I can have you feeling energy at a deep amplitude within seconds. And then,
yeah. Just talking to you, I feel it. When you talk about, you know, I feel the energy tingling through me.
Yeah, man. I mean, and so what happens is then we go into the deeper architecture. So that's where the Qigong comes in, and we develop the mastery of being able to separate electric from magnetic, and then furthermore going further, being able to separate, being able to merge, and then resonate at a higher frequency beyond everything, the present moment, which we call the Wu Ji, which is the stillness between the breath in and the breath out, and what we consider the mother of all things, the Tao. And so that present moment then translates into instant manifestation, magic, healing. But it's a mastery. It's like not a one-off, I just had this feeling. No, I will teach you how to replicate it over and over and over and over. And then that translates into clairvoyant skill set, which transmutes into as many senses as you want, including then furthermore mediumship, channeling, physical healing, all that stuff, all inclusive. And, you know, let's throw in a weekend course on exorcism. There you go.
Why not? Yeah, throw that in too. So, like, what are your courses online? Or you do them live, interactive?
I've been doing them on. I've been doing a lot of live stuff, and recently I just finished up all my online stuff. So that's going to be released probably in about a week. And so
that's amazing. That's good stuff, man.
Well, yeah, it's sort of like I just sat down with Lao-Tzu and revised his transmission of the Tao Te Ching. So now we have a new Tao Te Ching that goes deeper, because the Tao Te Ching truly, when you understand the nature of it, is a magical register. So each verse has 81 levels that you go into.
Okay, what is it called again?
Tao Te Ching, Tao Te Ching, Tao Te Ching.
Oh, Tao teachings.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Tao
comes in verses.
There's 81 verses for the Tao Te Ching. And so it's probably the most translated scripture in human history. But he revised it with me, and we sat down and went over it, and it's a finely tuned one. And each verse is an incantation, and each verse takes you deep into 81 different states of consciousness. And each with verse that also has 81 different colors. And then we go into the not the 8 hexagrams that people would relate to, like an I Ching or perhaps, you know, the Bagua. We're going into 9 hexagrams and trigrams, sorry. And within those trigrams, then you transmute, you put in the codes, you put in into the grid, and then you use the incantation using the specific color and the shapes and evoke, you know, whatever it is that you want. That's what the magic is all about. You know, it's like, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
It's the fun of it all. Yeah. So, you know, all that stuff. Yeah. That will be available momentarily. And, you know, it's just, you know, I kind of came from a background where I spent many decades sort of entertaining people with endless bank accounts and blank checks to acquire high states of consciousness. So I spent a lot of time in the Bay Area entertaining Fortune 500 CEOs that want, you know, their upper management, they want to read their auras and have a deeper understanding. Just stuff that it's like, oh yeah, you're my little magic man healer. And I mean, quite frankly, through human history, especially within China, every emperor had his own Taoist advisor because we had access to the alchemy that other people did not due to our own practices. And they're also the first one the emperor would kill because we don't want any other power to be possessed by anyone other than myself. And if that's going down, then we have to take care of business because this guy has the answer to all things. And it's just a state of consciousness, just as we're developing and understanding this today. But it's a repeatable generational like realization for thousands and thousands of years that, you know, you feel the amplitude of the energy, that it's palpable because it has been realized by millions of people before us. And so when you go into it, when you use it, it works. It real. And I mean, that's what I personally, that's, as an explorer myself, that's what I would want, is something that can validate my experience and continually expand my consciousness and what my view of what is perceived as my reality, and repeat it and have it validated within this 3D reality. So, you know, it's like just in that space you're in there, I can see 3 or 4 vortices already that are just like there and are very palpable. And, you know, it's like, you know, just with, you know, your eyes open, I could point you in the direction of it and your tuning forks will immediately feel it. But not that you want to check it out? Or yeah. So right now, just behind you, just in the corner behind you, there's very little space. It's like, what is there, 3 inches?
Right this way?
Oh yeah, right there. Right there. Now, you're got like how much space between your chair and the wall?
There's about 10 feet. That's the corner right there.
Okay, all right.
It's about 10 feet to the corner.
Okay, so you're in tune with energy, right? So just take your tuning forks like this, right? Okay. So now all I'm going to do is just drop in a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Now just play with it. Realize how deep that is. Yeah. Rich is like, holy crap, this is awesome. Because the energy is so dense right there. Immediately, that charge you're getting up your spine, the palpable Play-Doh that you're using your tuning forks with is now, right? It's like, you don't have
I can feel anything. My fingers, tingles up my spine.
Right, because that is instant. That's what it is. Now, if you go to that portal behind you, and you can use, if you're sitting down right before you even go any further, turn around and put your fingers like this, like as if they're tuning forks, towards the portal. So turn around and in your seat, you can now just take a second and now just move your fingers up and down slowly, because everything has an energetic field, and explain to the audience what you're experiencing in your fingers, because that is some crazy stuff right there.
Yeah. You can actually feel the pressure and the tingling pressure from outside in and inside out.
Yeah. Now what's even crazier, if you stand up and walk into it, it's as if, this is a crazy part. And I always, when I find these vortices and people are like, holy crap. And when you left me and I came back the next day and I just put my hand in and it's just there. It's like a fire hydrant. So if you stand up and walk over there, go ahead. You can take your headset off and go and experience it and then come back and tell the audience if it's easier. I don't know.
Yeah, that'll be easier. Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah. So what I want you, before you go, just go over there, use your tuning forks, right? So use these as a tuning fork. Now slowly walk into the corner, because you can already feel the chill, right? You're instantly starting to feel that chill. You're like, holy crap, this is like real stuff. Oh, yes, 1000%, my friend, it's real. So use these tuning forks and then slowly walk towards. You're just going to do like this. You're going to walk towards it, and you'll as you step into the vortex, it's just going to be fun, fun, fun till daddy take a T-bird away. So experience it, take a couple of seconds experience, then come back and share with the audience.
Okay, be right back.
I can still hear you, by the way, so even with the mics like that.
Do you see me fall over sideways?
Yeah, it's strong, man. And then you can, here's the beautiful part with that vortex, you can add a bunch of stuff. You stand in the middle of, holy moly, it's like Marilyn Monroe in that scene where she stood over the grate.
Okay, I can't hear you yet, but
go ahead.
Let me show you what I felt and experienced.
Yeah. It's like Marilyn Monroe over the grate in that movie, 7-Year Itch.
No, what now? What are you talking about?
Remember that scene out of Marilyn Monroe from that movie, The 7-Year Itch, where she got over the grate and it blew the dress up? That type of thing?
Yeah. Well, hey, first of all, I noticed like, whoa, I went sideways like that. And then as I got in there, I could feel it in my fingers and stuff and feel it around me. And then I could barely starting to see activity. I was looking like through a portal sort of thing. There was something was going on over there.
You're right in the middle. You're right in the middle of it. It's on. It's forever flowing. So you can add like now your own sort of magic shapes, add grids, numbers, these types of things to amplify it. Or if you're concerned that it might give way to other entities, you can also clap it off if you want. But that's a very, very powerful, high energetic sort of vibration and frequency. So it's not in any shape, way, or form coming from something that could be a little bit more ominous in its nature.
I'm good. Yeah. I'll definitely use it to travel and explore and different things like that. And may even invite a few friends in,
Well, it's kind of crazy that they're there and you've got another couple in your house.
Yeah. Okay.
Like another 3 or 4. And so, this is palpable stuff. And the first validation is you being able to experience it.
Yeah, I can. Yeah. I'm good with energy.
It's wild, huh?
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, I practice a little bit of Qigong. I'm not like a master or an expert or practice every day. But are there some good practices I could start?
Oh yeah. There's so many different things that you can apply because Qigong and Nigong are 2 of the secret sources that we use. So Qigong, in essence, is moving energy with your breath.
Yeah.
Right?
Now what I just did.
Yeah.
Big tingles, real instant.
Yeah, because you're highly tuned right now. So get this. Check this out. You got you're attuned with the resonance. So watch this. Whoa, woo! Oh yeah, and that's the attunement. That's the resonance that we're having.
Yeah.
And so now that Rich is even familiar with that particular vortex, he can put his hands up like this and start there, and of course it will envelop through his whole body. But like instantly, you don't even have to. You can point it. I like pointing it at it because then you kind of get this interesting realization of how deep it is because you can feel it from your back.
Yeah.
It's so palpable. It's like crazy. Yeah. So I'll hook you up with a bunch of exercises you can do to cultivate the very nature of that stuff. Because and the slower you go, like for example, for you, like that center point. So right now the vortex is between your hands. Open it up a little wider, like mine, right? And then as you just slowly move your hands inward, the pressure's crazy. It's like, hang on, there's something between my hands, dude.
Yeah.
Something very, very palpable. And then if you use your tuning fork, your fingers, kind of start here, right? Come back a little bit. And then now slowly merge them towards the center, very slowly, and watch the magnitude and what happens within the experience.
You can feel it in my fingers.
You can't make this stuff up, my friend.
No, this is the real deal.
This is the crazy stuff. And as you enter to the center point, you know, that frosty, numb feeling, that white hot, as if you're like, you know, hot white feeling is the actual tangibility of that energetic property. And they say move it back and forth, and you're like, oh, whoa.
Yeah.
And this is our life that we're living, Rich, every day. And like you're like moving into it. And one of the parts of like having an experience like that is the discharge. And it's sort of like, okay, now I'm calibrating at a different frequency. I'm calibrating at a higher level of consciousness because everything has been altered. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so you've got this sort of like heat and chill at the same time. Oh yeah.
I do this a lot, just almost every day. It's just,
because it's there.
Yeah, you're bringing it from there and bringing it from here, meeting it in the center, and then connecting the masculine, feminine, that's all that stuff. Kind of like that, you know. It's that Kundalini, fire serpent sort of exercise. But
well, we have a specific one. It's called the infinite Wuji body, and that evokes what we call the sacred infinite flower. And so the sacred infinite flower is you could it's right here and here. But what happens is part of that is that an advanced part of it is what we call the death of a star, the raising of the red phoenix, which exposes the black hole energy. And so all of a sudden, black hole energy, what are you talking about? I've had these students for years, right? They're training with me. They use the energy from a quantum physics perspective. They call it the 0 point, the scalar frequency, whatever you want to call it. It's the oneness. It's all things. It's the present moment. So they've been using this energy, cultivating it within the practices I teach them. And one of them has a PhD, and they're like studying. One of their research papers was studying the nucleus of a cell. And they come back and like, Shifu, you're not going to believe this. I'm like, please tell me. And this guy's got a PhD. Like, he's all left, but he's not left. He's like very intuitive, developing his skills, being able to be very sensory perceptive. And he's like, guess what I found in the nucleus of a cell? I'm like, what? Black hole energy.
Wow.
Like, wow, what a coincidence. Well, we've done thousands of years. We haven't needed this new language called quantum physics to help me realize what I already know to be true right here.
Yeah.
But these epiphanies open up the energetics, and the system is always repeatable. Once you master the system, it's yours. It's palpable. It's dense, just like anything else. And I mean,
I'm starting to feel a buzz in my head here.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
you're calibrating at a whole nother level, my friend. It's like a supercharge of a gateway that has been opened within you.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I can feel it. Now, interestingly enough, just yesterday, I was working with a friend of mine. She's very psychic, and we were doing some past life regression stuff and some other kinds of work to open up my third eye. Okay. yeah, and here we are. You know, I meet you today.
Well, yeah, you're meeting me today, and now you're literally like, want to open up my third eye. Hey, how about I just make a new friend who happens to just specialize in these internal alchemy practices that can laser focus what it is that I'm obtaining. And part of that sacred infinite flower is the oscillating of the pituitary, the three treasures we call it: pituitary, thalamus, and pineal. So what happens is when you oscillate that, all of a sudden we evoke what we call the Ryu, the Ruyi, which is a specific scepter, right? And this scepter is what we use to activate what we call the universe, which is the uterus, the answer to all things, the excess, the mother of all things. And this is where people get doubt. What was this woman stuff? What are you talking about? Feminine? What is going on here? We don't call it the mother of all things for no reason. And there isn't a reason why the timeline of a human creation is 9 months, because that's our highest point, our highest number. Within our numerology, that's the highest point, and everything is integrated into Taoism within the number 9. So within that Tao Te Ching, there's 81 verses. And so,
9 times 9, 81.
Yeah. And so you're just like, all you did was go, you know what, universe, I want I want to master this just very notion of this other thing. I need a little bit more tweaking. Poof, you work with your girlfriend, and now you've become friends with me, and you're about to open some gateways, my friend, that are going to blow your mind.
That's great. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now, is this called the sacred secretion, or is that another study?
Yeah. I mean,
you
could refer it as the sacred secretion, where within the infinite Wuji body is an understatement, an embodiment of that. So Wuji in Taoism means infinite. It means the stillness to all things, right? So you're opening the gateway to that. So within Taoism, Wuji is the stillness between the breath in and the breath out. And how someone would realize that would be the infinity sign. And it's that middle point that's where you find that stuff. And that's the mother of all things. And the thing, every time I say this, it's resonating more and more with you as a holy crap. I get that. That makes sense to me. 1000% makes sense to me. This is like, it's as if I'm coming home. Thank you, consciousness, for bringing me back to what I already know. Literally.
Now that in that infinite thing and the sacred breath and the center point, it's like everything is ebb and flow, frequency, up, down, back, forth. And so you're not going to have phenomena without frequency. Frequency of what? Frequent is how frequent is it? And what is it that is frequent? Well, one way to put it, it's the imagining. It's like you imagine it, and then you don't imagine it, and then you do imagine it. You keep imagining over and over and over again, and you get, the illusion of time, kind of weird shit. But it's like with breath, it's like built into the biology, so to speak. The secret to the universe is all in here. This is all a blueprint, really, of what's going on, big picture, right? Everything is reflecting. You got the body is mapped out in the ear, the body's mapped out in the eyeballs, and all so many different ways. Anyway, the breath thing, I'm looking at it like a real practical way I could use it just like really quickly. It's like, even if it's not taking a deep breath, but I'm just walking in to get some more coffee, and I go, oh, and I in breathe and ex in and out real fast. But if I pay attention to that middle point just for a sec, it's like catch it, because usually you don't catch it unless you pay attention, right? There you go. Yeah, then you feel the silence, right? Oh, kind of like that.
Yeah, and we get into breathing from consciousness.
Yeah,
primordial breathing, embryonic breathing is sort of a starting point, a gateway, and then you get into, where I get, the longest I've held my breath is 27 minutes from a physicality perspective, but I'm breathing.
Yeah,
that's walking in a vortex of vortices, and that is where you get the secret source. So that moment it starts between the breath in and the breath out, and then it's realized as all things. So you start breathing from consciousness, not from your physicality. It's no longer there. It's no longer needed. It's just a starting point. So this is where you go from conceptually the idea of a breatharian to a realization of a breatharian, and being able to source energy from anything and have it nourish and enrich and fortify the physicality, because that's part of it. It's like, instead of it being transient, you want to fortify the internal alchemy. You want it to be accessible at all times for whatever purpose you need it for, and you want to access it as the present moment, not part of your physicality. You level up your physicality, you enrich it, so that within Taoism's a little different to Buddhism, because most people go, oh, well, Buddhism and Taoism is kind of the same. It's like an Eastern philosophy thing. And I'm like, actually, it's quite different. And if you talk to my Buddhist monk friend, he understands that. So Buddhism is is like a pile of dirt covered in diamonds, and you spend your life taking another diamond off, looking for more dirt, more mystery, more pain. Whereas a Taoist looks at life like this: a pile of diamonds covered in dirt. You dust off some more dirt, and wow, I have another diamond. And it really speaks more of an understanding, just like Tom Campbell and I came to this consensus. Is like, really, it's like, is the glass half empty or full? What's the realization of that? I mean, it's that simplistic. It's really that simple. And that resonance is part of what I give people, the 72-hour challenge. And they're like, what? Well, what's the 72-hour challenge? Well, for 72 hours, you're going to accept and allow all things. And they're like, what? I'll check it out. Try it.
I'm on board. I'm going to do
it. Within 24 hours, they're all of a sudden going, why has my life become so effortless? You know, but these are moments where your physicality is going to, I come home from work because of my past viewpoint of reality. I come home from work. I open the door. I realize my neighbor's nailing my wife. I accept and allow it, close the door, walk back into the kitchen, make myself a coffee. And then I move to the next point where I go outside and I decide to go for a drive, leaving the accept and allowing behind. I get in my car, drive down the street. Someone basically T-bones me. I'm in what is perceived a dramatic situation, an accident. I accept and allow that. I go through the process. I'm talking about dramatic events that would shake the very foundation of your belief system. And then we can get to benign things where if you want to take it at a little macro sort of like myopic version, it's just like, hey, look, you start with a certain resonance. When you accept and allow something like, say, someone telling you to go F yourself, instead of the embodiment of that emotion that is evoked by someone saying that, which would be fear-based, and Tom and I agree that there's subsections of fear, but literally that's the catalyst that stops you from creating anything, is this fear, this emotion. So when that emotion is not being met, and so this is what we teach, like sort of baseline to enter into all this realization of the internal alchemy, is being able to take your emotions and put them in the corner of the room and say, sit, roll over, play dead. And when I'm ready, I'll embody that. That's my personality, some of my life experiences. This is not the present moment. And never sort of shape yourself into, I need to acquire this virtue signaling. Let me take the shirt off my back. Let me sell all my possessions. Let me tell God that I am one with all things. And that is the biggest virtue signal and mistake that people can make. Instead of realizing that you can take your personality on and off like underwear. You don't have to be stuck in the state that this is all things. No, this is an experience, and you access it. So when you master the emotions, just as you're feeling the pulpability of it, palpable feeling you're feeling now, that's what I teach people, to get the emotion and move it into the corner and stay sit, and you experience this present moment. So then you're able to manifest magic, healing instantly, instead of being distracted. You're the first, third, no person, no title, no nothing. You cannot obtain this state of consciousness if you're something. Does this make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
When you master it, it's palpable, just like you're doing here. It's like, okay, this comes in, I have 3 seconds. And what I do is within, normally it takes a period of time. Normally within, I actually developed an actual app that takes Joe Smith, Joe Blow, the guru, Dalai Lama, and if you are subject to the experience, the first side effect that you have, Rich, by hitting play, forget about, I need to get in a lotus position, I got to do this. Now, the first thing that happens to you is you feel like you've had 5 pina coladas, a full body massage, and a week in the Bahamas. And you come out of that and you go, holy crap. I didn't have a belief system. I didn't have an idea, an expectation, or any of these things. Yet I'm having a physical response that's second to none. Now, I've measured the brainwaves that are created from the material that comes out of that. And the whole point is to give you a crash course. You dial in your energetic vortices. So each week you dial in the first, the second. We start with first 9 and we go up to 108. But really, there's infinite amount. But trust me, if you dial in the first 9, maybe the first 27, you're literally going to seem like you're like a reincarnation of Jesus Christ at this point, when you get that sort of fluidity. And people want that. What I want to give them is a solution to their torture of their emotional state.
Absolutely.
Even if you're not even like in a spiritual state, you want to manifest, you just want to get a handle on your reality. People love this because they master their emotions, then they're able to go, nope, that's not for me. Meaning I don't have to experience that. And they take the emotion in the event and they put it to the side. But the bigger thing is validating it. Like, it's like one thing when you and I go, all right, okay, you have this experience and there's this process that you're speaking of. And most people are like, well, what is this going to take? What, you want me to take 9 weeks out of my life to acquire this mastery? And then what about, what does that, well, how do I know it's going to work? And I'm like, guess what? I've got an answer for you. I don't get you to wait 9 weeks to realize whether you have the mastery. Within the first experience, you're able to measure your ability to access and recall this stuff, just as Rich understands how quickly and how palpable this stuff.
Totally. Yeah.
So, you know, the first experience they have, I go, there's not a second on anything that I teach someone that is being wasted. If you're immersing yourself in any material that I share with you, it's being embodied and it's being calibrated within the very essence of who you are, and then it's being able to be realized. But the most important thing is to be able to measure your response, measure your result. Because if you're not doing that, then it's like, oh, it's like the normal run-of-the-mill, I did this meditation, I feel good, and then you go outside and someone gets in your face and goes, F you, and then you're like, I was just in such a serene state of bliss. And now I'm dealing with this emotional state that's controlling my very behavior right now. I want to punch this person in the face. And this is what I believe I've observed is the biggest issue that a lot of these practices have, is their inability to be able to repeat it and to master it so it's available to them. And so when you put someone in a state where they can measure it on a daily basis, I just spent 27 minutes of my life doing this. And what happens is it becomes more and more concentrated to a point where you're instantly obtaining the ability to shift that. And that's what you want to do. That's amazing. That's right? That's the goal, right?
That's good stuff. Yeah. Hey, talking about parallels.
Yeah.
This thing about personality. Yeah. And being the third, the consciousness, watching these two personalities, I do something similar. I put together my own technique, and I use ChatGPT, an app with an instruction sheet on how to do it. And so let's say the classic one I use is being a dick and being a nice guy. Sometimes I'll get in this, geez, Rich, you're being a dick. This part of me here, personality here, I was just in this personality character being a dick. And this part of me goes, gee, you're being a dick. And then it's like, it's like you either stay being a dick or you feel bad, wrong, guilty for being a dick. Now you're being a nice guy with an issue. There's a dicky part of you. Oh, fuck. No. Just go like this. Embrace it. Allow it. Being a dick. Okay, dick. What's the problem? You know, it's like, well, the bitch she just did that shit and it just like drives me fucking crazy. Fuck the bitch. Right? That's what a dick would say. I allow it. Now, then I said, are we done? Yeah. You said everything I needed to say. Yeah. Fuck it, man. I go, that's good. Yeah, that was really good, Dick. They go, well, thank you. And then we go, okay, Mr. Nice Guy. What seems to be the problem here? Oh, man, you can't be talking like that shit. You can't be doing that stuff. You move yourself into it, into this personality. And, you know, it's like, you know, there's reputations. We got a reputation here. We got to protect. You know, can't be a dick on camera. Yeah, I know. Well, is there anything else you want to say? I just think, you know, Jesus, just don't be a dick. You know, and you go back and forth, and you get the laughs and the chuckles. They're opposite potentials. So this is going to discharge off of that, and all the angry energy, hate, anger, love, transmuted into hate is going to peel off because it was listened to. Chills out, and it dissipates and discharges, and you're back in the middle. You're not either one. Yeah.
No, it's beautiful. It's amazing, and this is more of what we need to do. It's like that's why I sort of walked away from this monkey in a grinder. I'm the Merlin the wizard to the most affluent with the, you know, endless pockets and blank checks to step away from that and immerse myself in, you know, my teacher, Lao-Tzu, was like, no, we're done with that. Now you're going to go and create something that will affect millions of people, not thousands of people. Oh, and that's really what this is about. This is about, and so, you know, revealing these sort of ancient practices. I mean, all the cultivation, all the internal alchemy, all the rituals, people have never seen this stuff before because it's never been revealed. And even some of these so-called masters that share their version of something, will not access the consciousness that I'm talking of, because they're not getting the direct source stuff that, and of course their ego wants to hold it back. Their ego doesn't want anyone else to be the, the next coming of the Messiah, the Jesus Christ, whatever. It's an ego driven thing, instead of realizing that, and I learned this almost immediately, your gift is your offering. The more you give, the more you receive, the more you become one with all things. So helping or sharing with people their own realization of their inner power is the only thing that I wake up and go to sleep by, is making it possible for everyone. And I always tell people, all the stuff that I do, whatever it is, it's instantly obtained by you if you choose to allow it. And if there's a little progression there, then I have all the techniques that will show you how to do it and master it and perfect it and repeat it over and over and over and over again, which is really, that's the part that gets exciting, because being experienced, like the stuff that we're experiencing today, is so profound that, we can find these vortices and get involved in them and experience them instantly, because they're real. It's just not a figment of our imagination. And that's why I'll point these hotspots out for people. And I actually have a couple of videos where I go around casinos and I explain the architecture and the shapes of how they're sort of created, and all the hotspots within the casinos, and how that if you go through a certain door, you're going to lose your money. If you go through another entrance, you're going to win. And so all these spirits are guarding these casinos, and there's all this other geometry and stuff going deep into the configuration. And I know for a fact these casinos have hired someone like myself, an expert in feng shui, to put this stuff together to get a prescribed response. They want people to lose. They don't want people to win. They're not interested in. They want you to just keep. So you get into a certain state where you keep giving till there's nothing left, and you don't realize that you're mortgaging your house just to make another bet on a blackjack table, and you don't get it because you're caught up in the magic infrastructure that's been created.
Yeah, literal magic. The real deal. And affecting it.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And people just are blown away. And, when we have experiential moments like the one you and I have had today, this is where it gets exciting, because this is just the beginning. I love it. I love being able to share and experience things as a collective, and then build on it, grow on it. And of course, you throwing your lure out to the universe, going, I want to develop this a little bit more, or maybe there was a little. And then poof! Oh, my new bestie just has techniques that can help me refine that. Whoa! What are the chances of that? Well, absolutely. That's what we're here for, and I'm more than happy to share it. I'm excited that you can apply some of these things to enhance your own experience and your own development, because that's really what it comes down to. It's empowering the individual and having them realize they are all things. And that's the tapestry of it all.
You're just amazing, and your teachings are really great, and I'm feeling it. I feel the energies, and you really got a deep understanding of what is going on around here.
And I greatly appreciate that insight coming from someone as mastered as you are in your own journey and exploration, because it's no joke. People need to understand it's even beyond the biological clock of how many decades that Rich has been expressing and creating and sharing and cultivating in this state. It goes beyond biology. We're talking about connecting with our past lives and our own bonds that we've had many lifetimes before this, and it's being realized right now. It's exciting.
I could see one where you and I were together too.
Oh yes, brother, yes. And I mean, this is it. I mean, I don't know where are you coming out from? Whereabouts are you?
I'm in California.
Oh, okay. Oh, man, you
We're,
got to come down. You got to come down here, and we got to explore the incredible, majestic magic of the desert, and come and hang out at my Taoist temple down here, and
yeah.
we'll definitely check out some exploration, because I mean that's what it's exciting. I mean, you're right there. Unfortunately, I have I'm getting a little rash by mentioning the word California, but that's okay. That's just me.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. But you get over it. I was born here, so
Yeah,
got that.
you're
I'm
adapting.
immune. Yeah, I'm
You're
immune.
immune to the. You're immune to it,
Yeah.
and you're able to adapt to it. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, it's a very interesting energy, my friend. It is interesting, very, very interesting. But now I know we're so close. I mean, my goodness, Las Vegas to wherever you are, you can't be. Whether it's
250, 300 miles, maybe.
There you go.
Yeah,
we're close. We're close. We're close. We'll have to have it happen. Either if I end up in California for some unforgiven, some bad manifestation.
Heaven forbid.
Some bad manifestation in California, or furthermore, we'll have to have you out here. That would be exciting. I want to say in closing, what is your definition of consciousness?
Consciousness, I guess you'd look at it like, with knowing, consciousness, but it's the knowing. It's not a person. It's not a being. It's not like a person has consciousness. Consciousness is and has the ability to think, consider, thought, manifest, create, and it's the knowing. And we put ourselves as aspects of consciousness. We put ourselves into positions and points of view with limited consciousness and awareness, with the game being, gee, what can I do here, and how can I re-expand, get my knowing and understanding. And just beyond that knowing is not knowing, and then that would be the consciousness of not knowing and the awareness of that. Anyway,
oh man, I love it, because Lao Tzu teaches 5 stages: concept, consciousness, knowing, unconscious knowing, and then being one with all things. And so this is sort of a layered, very much in line with what you're saying. And I mean, the Jade Emperor, one of my other teachers, always says, when you accept you know nothing, you know everything.
Yeah. Not knowing is way high up there. It's way past, beyond the knowing.
Right. And then, of course, you return to within the scriptures. If you have to learn it, you do not know it. If you know it, you do not have to learn it. That's right here. That's what you and I discovered very early in our natural born lives, and have been exploring and expanding on that ever since. And that's sort of like where my ultimate goal, not that I have a limit on a goal, but is to constantly awaken people to their natural, true knowing of who they are.
Well, here's one I like. You hear the phrase, consciousness is in all things. Oh, that sounds good. It's in the nail, it's in the cup. It's like, how about all things are in consciousness? I like that better. That works for me.
I love that. I love it, friend. Well, I want to thank you. I'm going to put all your social media under this podcast, and then I want you to share with the audience whatever it is that you're offering right now in the world of Rich.
Okay, my only social media really is YouTube. That's the only one I really use. Rich2150X is my YouTube channel, and my website, richwest.net. I offer consultations and services. I help people with entity stuff, similar, I guess, to you or whatever. But I help people that have entity issues. I also do it's called a deep dive dual psychic scan. Me and my associate, who is a extremely good psychic, can see people's stuff, see the entity stuff around them, see their past lives, Akashic records, all this stuff. And so her and I work together with a client that has issues with entities, or they're a targeted individual, or past life traumas, or relationship issues, whatever. And then together we work with them and help them see that stuff and clear that stuff out. And then there's the walk-in. We never talked about that, but this thing about walk-ins. You know, somebody walks in the body, somebody else leaves. What's that all about? And that can be get tangled up if a person is a walk-in and the walkout didn't walk out or something else happened, went sideways. I can help clear that up and help people. You know, they've walked in. There are the rightful new guy or gal, and that can get crazy. But I can help them clear that up. So then there's past life regression stuff. Oh, and the good one, people with really good visuals, or even like so-so visuals, if you can see stuff, I can help them draw in their, they can see it. You know, like imagine an oak tree. Yeah, I can see an oak tree. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of on a scale of 1 to 10, how vivid is it? Oh, maybe it's about a 4 or 5, but it stays there. Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, move into it closer. Yeah, move away from it and touch something. Touch it. Yeah, look at the mountains behind it. You know, just all this shit. You just draw them into it, and it turns on their visuals more. And then I sneak them into the entire. It's all 3D holographic, and now they're done right or done thoroughly, or sometimes they will completely pull enough consciousness out to where they realize I am really here. This isn't just my imagination, but I can take them anywhere they want to go. It's like I call it reality surfing. You know, there's just popping into one universe or another, at least some territory, fun like that. And then meeting I've helped people talk to, you know, their lost loved ones, discarnate beings. Same way, same stuff. Anyway, that's the sort of things I do.
Well, your associate might be out of a job once I work out your energetics, my friend. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No. Hey, here's the thing about, like, you know, why are my visuals at the level they are instead of like being able to see? Mm-hmm. If I had my visuals with everything else that I was able to pull off and learn and learn quickly, and with this passion to explore the multiverse, if I had those good visuals early on, I would have been out of here. It's like I wouldn't have stuck around to learn all this other stuff that I learned. So I limited myself in that way. But now it's time to open it up.
Now it's time. We're reunited, and it feels so good. Yeah. Because when you get that stuff up, you know, psychic readings, what I call black op drive-by psychic readings is what I love to teach people. And you obtain information in seconds, and people freak out. And so those type of like insights become quite repeatable, and I've done it for thousands of people. Once you learn it, it's yours. It doesn't look. This is like the one thing, the misconception about this reality. Where are we? The misconception about this sort of obtained sort of like mastery. It's not like the physicality where if I don't train, I'm going to get fat and I'm going to lose my. No, once you develop a skill, it's there for the rest of your natural born life, and in turn your next life. And that inner working, that alchemy and the architecture only grows on itself. So the more attention you put to it, the more it develops, the more refined it becomes, the more instantaneous it is. And that's the difference between the physicality and the metaphysical that we're speaking of.
Yeah. Yeah. Back in the 70s, what you're talking about, this instantaneous read on people, I knew it, I felt it, but I didn't allow it, or didn't give myself confidence in it. And so I turned it off, you know, but I've experienced it. It's like, and the trick is you don't think about it. You don't have a judgment or an opinion about it. You don't go, was that in my imagination? Did I get it right? No, it's just like, you look at somebody and go, bam, it's right there. Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I know what you're talking about, and I'm looking forward to reading.
Oh yeah, because I'll show you how to just look at all the energy centers. They give you all the answers with your eyes open. I just look at someone's energy centers, and it gives you the emotion and virtue, which is excess or deficient, and it gives you a profile, inner workings of their very thoughts, their feelings and emotions, plus their physical state, where they're at, what's excessive or deficient within the whole ecosystem. And it takes about a second.
Wow.
And that's now,
did you like come up with that yourself? Is this ancient teachings, or
Oh,
did
this
you
is ancient. This
take
is
ancient teachings? Did you tweak
ancient.
it, or
No.
no?
This
It's
is
the ancient.
ancient
Oh,
stuff,
okay.
and it's just repeatable. It's handed down from generation to generation. That's
Oh,
why
okay.
the charge you're getting is, whoa, and it's repeatable. That's the whole point
Right.
of this
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
That's the stuff that people are sort of like removed from, like Taoism, because it's never been revealed. It stays in secrecy, and I guess I'm that turning point, that particular generation holder, because I'm a 66 generation holder in one lineage of Taoism, 126 generation holder in another one. That's here in this physicality.
Dude.
And in past lives, I've been eternal immortals within Taoism for hundreds of
Wow.
situations. So
Fuck
it's
yeah,
like,
man.
this is the secret source. It's the opening of the gates, and I guess people are going to get a little twisted. That's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like
it's
because
good
it should be
shit,
for
man.
everyone. It
Yeah,
should
yeah.
be for everyone.
Yeah, and you were saying something, you could take it with you. You can take this stuff not only like in another incarnation, but in the other realms. When you're done with 3D, you can take it with you. Like the thing about getting out of body is really learning how to consciousness shift, right? You're just retuning into a
Yes.
new, and you're creating it, manifesting, or tuning into somebody else's creation or a group of beings' creation. Anyway, boom, boom, boom. You learn how to do it here, you learn how to do it there. So you can be in another realm over there and not locked in. Or is this it? Is this my heaven world? Is this my Shambhala, Valhalla? No, no, no. You can go out of body or consciousness shift or surf the multiverse from any other realm as well, when you learn the kind of techniques I'm talking about. Learning the kind of techniques you're talking about, same thing in these higher realms, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
yes, my friend.
Yeah.
Well, in closing, I want to thank you, brother, for reuniting us. I want to thank the universe for us being once again together, and I want to thank the audience for sharing their time with us today.
Yeah. Thank you all.
And greatly appreciated. Rich is going to be a regular on this channel, so you'll be seeing him real soon. Again, check out everything Rich has to offer in all his social, all the information under this podcast. And I am your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master Sun Qing, and I'll see you on the next one, guys.
Okay.